All right, I have with me Leslie, the astrologer, today, and we're going to talk about some of the latest astrology that's happening right now. We've had Venus retrograde since the 23rd of July, so we're kind of deep in that. The nodes also shifted, which is, yeah, kind of a significant new chapter that we're heading into with the North Node in Aries, the South Node in Libra. That's pretty interesting because the South Node's in Libra, and then Venus is retrograding right now, so kind of might be a tough time for relationships and love life and
Yeah,
things like that.
contracts and agreements, anyone that you're interacting with on a one-on-one basis. So it's not like, your acquaintances. These are like your good friends or people or your relationships, your romantic relationships, your business partnerships, contracts. It could
Oh,
be any kind of contracts. Yeah.
yeah.
Because
It
in
could be
Libra, it's the
financial.
South Node is in Libra, right? So that means basically the way the North and the South nodes work is whichever one is in the North is whatever sign the North Node is in, the South Node is always in the opposite sign. And the South Node is sort of like stuff that might be easy from a past life or, an earlier time in your life. It's like sort of, it's an upside down thing, right? So my astrology teacher always said that's the astrological garbage can. It's like it's what comes easy to you, but it's kind of sleazy. It's not the habits you want to continue. So with Libra, we're kind of, there's this glossing over of trying to sort of please everybody, but please no one. That's what happens
Oh.
when with Libra energy, when it's not manifesting correctly. It becomes sort of like trying to make everyone happy and make no one happy.
Uh,
So with the North Node in Aries, there's a little bit more of, I need to be me.
yeah.
The universe is asking you to play your individual role. And that's also a little bit connected to Pluto and Aquarius, which we're taking a break from right now. Pluto's back in Capricorn. But Aquarius, I finally found a way to explain Aquarius energy that people can relate to. So, like, if you own a car, how many cars do you own? Like how many cars are in your name? Maybe one, but how many parts make up your car? Is it like two? Is it 100? There's a whole bunch of little moving parts. Now, if you take one of the moving parts out of the engine, one bolt even. I had a bolt fall out of my car once, and there was like a cage holding the engine in my car. And they had done work on the engine. And when they took the bolt out of the cage, they stripped those threads. So that one little bolt being taken out of place made the engine fall out of my car. So that's Aquarius. That's the only bolt that was like that bolt in the car, right? It's the only bolt that went into that engine. And even your tires, each tire is a little different. The seats are different, every little moving part, but they're all working together. But every part is an individual. That's what Aquarius wants us. Aquarius energy wants us to be whatever that little part in society is, but it's your unique part. It's your unique little thing. You're not like anybody else. So if that bolt in my car was trying to be the steering wheel, it wouldn't work. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? So it's all these little parts make up this one big thing, the car. But if even just that one little bolt, so that's what I want people to think of when they're thinking of their Aquarian energy. What is your gift? What's your part? And it's your individual part. You're not trying to be something else, but we all sort of have this. We're all part of a bigger whole. Um, so that's a little bit of what was going on with the full moon too on Tuesday.
Hmm.
Did you have anything significant happen in your life?
Oh man, I mean, there's been so much going on. I can't. I don't know if I can even pinpoint one thing, but there's a lot of change going on, a lot of things moving. Feeling the Venus retrograde, getting some uh getting some marriage counseling right now, which is
Oh,
really which
yeah,
is really
good
good.
though. It
Yeah,
should
which is
though,
really
yeah.
good. Really
But that's what
positive.
that's what this is too. Even with the South Node in Libra, we're kind of looking, what are our old habits in relationships that are not good?
Yeah.
What are the bad habits? and how do we find balance, between, you don't want to be, because, Aries is a warrior, you know, and then, but Libra's is an energy that gives up their power a lot. So there's got to be a balance in there. You don't want to be completely self-centered and at war with everyone in the whole world, but you don't want to go back to your old relationships, habits that aren't healthy. And that could be how's your relationship with money? Because Venus is also money. Venus is what we value. Venus in Leo, we should talk about that, the Venus retrograde, right? Venus in Leo said, are you prioritizing and valuing joy, happiness, and romance, and playfulness, and creativity in your life? Are you nurturing your inner child? The universe really wants us to go in that direction, which is a nice direction, really, if you think about it. But if you're not ready to prioritize, joy in your life, the universe is going to do stuff to make it happen. And it could be a painful trip to find joy. So there is a finger of God in the sky involving Venus, Neptune, and Pluto. So Neptune and Pluto are working together. They're dissolving and transforming things right now. And it's in order so that we can go in that direction of joy, happiness, romance. What makes your heart sing? What brings your heart joy? What's the song in your heart? What's your heart's calling? That's really what this finger of God is asking us to do. So there might be some things. Go ahead.
I just remembered, I actually had a really powerful experience around this full moon. I went through a 3-day men's retreat here in Bali, which is really, really awesome. There's a lot of like embodiment, like breath work, and kind of like getting into our masculine, which is like kind of poo-pooed in society right now. But kind of, just
it shouldn't be. There has to be, again, it's a balance, right? We don't want toxic masculinity or femininity. It should be a balance. It needs to be a balance.
And
it's not good for anyone. Even a more, a patriarchy, it's like there has to be a balance. Patriarchy is not good for men either. We don't want to have it one or the other.
I'm sick of the patriarchy too.
Yeah. Because it puts unrealistic expectations on men and everyone. And then the young women are growing up thinking, every man's got to be a knight in shining armor, and it just doesn't exist. Nobody can do that. So it really, hopefully that is something else that we could get out of this Venus retrograde, and the South Node being in Libra, is how do we balance that out? How do we respect all of our places, all of our individuality? We need it all to make up our society. So
it's a really interesting balance right now. Maybe especially for me to some degree, because my chart ruler is Mars, and then I'm an Aries ascendant, so I'm kind of trying to balance the warrior with the Libra energy.
Where is Mars right now? Is it in Virgo right now? So or is it in? Where are we?
I think it is in Virgo. Let's see.
Yeah, it's been in Virgo for a little while now, and so that's very much focusing on health. So that's like a perfect thing to do, that you're going on that retreat for Mars in Virgo.
It felt really good.
It's like creating a healthy habits.
And then I'm like continuing to stay connected to some of the guys after the weekend, going out getting lunch. So kind of that Aquarius, like, making new friends. So that's really positive. But then I feel like we're also balancing the Pluto Capricorn, which is like super serious energy. And I have a lot of Capricorn in my chart. So I'm trying to bring through the inner child playfulness during this, like, Pluto
Well,
Capricorn.
that's it. This is, I think, what's really kicking everyone's butt, because we
Yeah.
kind of had a preview, right, from March until June. We had Pluto in Aquarius for the first time since 1778. So we had
Mhm.
kind of this 3 months, like I know one of my favorite astrologers calls it a trailer. It's a trailer for the main feature that's to come. The
Yeah.
movie's being edited right now. The next 20 years of your life is the feature film that's going to start in January. But so we
Mhm.
had these 3 months of, okay, this is the preview. This is kind of the energy you're going to be dealing with come January from 2024 until 2044. Um, and so Pluto went retrograde and it's back in Capricorn as of, I think it was like June 23rd, somewhere around there. Can't remember now when it actually retrograded, but
June
no, it
10th,
would
I
have been
think.
June 11th. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. It was March 23rd until June 11th.
Uh,
So now we're kind of like, it's almost like you found your new apartment right between March and June, or you found the house you want to move into. But now we got to spend the next 6 months packing things up and deciding, what are you going to bring with you into your new Pluto and Aquarius home? And what are you going to leave behind with the last 12 years? And, there's a lot of, speaking of the patriarchy, the whole corporate structure, of corporation, just the way things are structured in our society is just not working anymore, right? Our healthcare
yeah.
system is being run by insurance companies and pharmaceutical companies. 75% of the medical research that we use to create protocols in the American healthcare system are paid for by the pharmaceutical companies. So like, there's a little bit of a conflict of interest. So I mean, a lot of the younger kids, they're joining medical collectives. They are not going to regular doctors. They're not watching TV. They're not watching Netflix. They're watching YouTube and TikTok. They are not going
Mhm.
to the old structures anymore.
Oh
More
yeah.
and more kids are getting homeschooled. They're not going to schools. I mean, I have health insurance, but I can't tell you, I would say 95% of my healthcare I'm getting outside of the old system, because it's just not working anymore, you
Yeah.
know? And
Exactly.
that's what this is.
Hmm.
And if this worked for you, if the old system was working for you, it's going to really be a difficult transformation. For those of us who felt oppressed by that system, it's going to feel like the world's opening up. There's no more
Yeah.
brick and mortar. Brick and mortar is Capricorn. Owning a business online is Pluto in Aquarius. And so,
Mhm.
we're
Okay.
packing it up right now. This is, we need this time to kind of review the past. And that's why there's so much retrograde right now, tying up the old.
Mm. Yeah. So Venus retrograde. It's a good time, yeah, to kind of go deep within ourselves, kind of do some inner child healing type work.
Yeah,
Whether
because of it being Leo,
yeah.
a lot of Gen Xers will tell you they didn't feel like they had a childhood. And I read something funny. It was the only generation that turned 30 at age 10, and they're still age 30 at age 50. Like, was it you that was saying, if, oh no, I think it was my acupuncturist, if you've had to skip over a part of development in your life because of some kind of trauma, you're going to go, you're like, we have to go through all those levels. So a lot of people who felt like they didn't have a childhood right now, or they don't have romance in their life, or they don't have any kind of fun or play, they're now bringing that back into their life. There might be some 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds who never had a childhood, and now is the time the universe says, I need you to get in touch with your inner child spirit. I need you
Mhm.
to nurture that child, because your creative gifts are in there. And if you haven't gone through the levels in the right order, you still have to go back. It's like aligning your chakras, right? If one is out of line, you got to go back and get it aligned.
Mhm.
So that's really what retrogrades are for, bringing things back into alignment, giving us a
Oh, that
chance to
yeah.
sort of review, kind of
Yeah.
like, what? I kind of don't want to throw that in the garbage. Let me go get that out of the garbage and And I think I might be able to refurbish this. It's that kind of energy. And also the energy of, you know what, that's not going to work anymore for me. That's going to go.
Yeah. And
we got Mercury retrograde coming up too.
intuitively, it feels like this is a good time to process the last few years with the pandemic as well.
Oh yeah.
That's coming up in conversation. Like, I feel like people are like still processing like the traumas from that whole
yeah
couple years.
Yeah, I was diagnosed with PTSD this year from being a nurse, and it wasn't, the PTSD is not from what people think. It wasn't from watching people die. That's what we're trained to do. It was a lot more about your job getting politicized, and not having the right equipment to help your patients, and having been told that, we're going to have fitted masks. And if you don't go to your mask fitting, when you're a nurse, we on a yearly basis, we would get fitted for masks. And the rule was you have to one mask per patient encounter. You take it out, you put it on in the room, you take it off before you leave the room. And suddenly I had one mask for months, so you're like, what is going on? But yeah, there's a lot of people also, I find, and this is very much a Pluto in it's very much a balancing of that Pluto in Aquarius energy and the Leo energy, the Venus in Leo energy. There's sort of like this, letting go and not getting so caught up in things, and putting that energy back into your passion.
Yeah.
So a lot of us have been, and I'm guilty of this, you get caught up in a lot of these pop culture arguments. When it comes down to it, the average person is against child trafficking. They're against child abuse. They're against, people shooting up school. Nobody is for infanticide, but I'm not going to argue with you if you think Planned Parenthood is committing infanticide, or if you think that pizza place has a child, child trafficking. Those, I feel, are things that are shoved into our, like, I'm not going to fight about a country song or a Barbie movie with people, because I feel like these are arguments created so that we fight with people that we actually would agree with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, neither one of us is going to support child trafficking or child abuse, but I'm not going to accuse you of supporting child trafficking because you went to a certain pizza place, or I'm not going to accuse someone of being against gay people because they went to Chick. I just can't do it anymore, because the truth is, whoever's creating those narratives and shoving them into our feeds, and pissing us off so that you're going to spend 2 weeks fighting about a country song. This is divide and conquer.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't, it's almost like, I don't know what you know. I don't want to know, because I'm pretty sure when it comes down to it, we're going to agree. We might fight like chickens over these stupid pop culture things. So I'm finding more and more people are going in that direction of, you know what? I might not like Donald Trump and you do, but you're a good person, and I'm not voting for him, but that doesn't mean we have to hate each other. And I feel like there's been a lot, and it's been by design. Yeah. I feel like that there's been sort of this, you need to hate that person that doesn't think like you. And then this way we can control you all. And I think a lot of people are starting to see that that's very much a Aquarius Leo kind of balance.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's what
you're gonna detach enough so you're not hating somebody,
and that's what I think this Leo energy is bringing out, is like the past few years we're kind of getting lost in the ideas of what the collective needs from us, and we need to sacrifice ourselves and our own needs for the collective good. But now it's like, whoa, I got to take care of myself. I got to do me, like especially with the Aries North Node, like I got to blaze my own path.
I got to take care of my body. Autonomy is very important.
Yeah,
it is the absolute most important thing. And you're just going to have to deal with, we're going to all have to deal with the fact that people are going to do things with their bodies that you might be vehemently morally opposed to. But we have to give that up, because if they've got one side saying you can't leave the house unless you take a medication, you know, and then you've got another side saying, well, you're 9 years old and you're pregnant, you're going to have to carry to term. Both of those things are terrible as far as I'm concerned. Everyone's got to be able to make a, it's between them, their families, and their doctors, what you're going to do with your body, or it's really just between you. It's really up to you what's going to happen with your body, and it's no one else's business. And that is the one thing that I feel like they'll get us to fight over, so that I'm supporting taking away your body autonomy and you're fighting taking away mine over separate issues. But the bottom line is body autonomy. So that's where I feel like we all need to move towards too. And that is the North Node in Aries. It's easier, right? The South Node in Libra, that could be laws too, right? Because it's Libra is written contracts.
Mm-hmm.
So it's easy to kind of like pick on other people, right? It's your fault. It's your fault. It's your fault. Instead of being, listen, this is my body, my life. I'm the only one that has to go to bed with myself at night. I have to wake up with myself in the morning. So I have to do what's right for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's not being selfish. That's, I mean, doing what's best for us can set a good example for others as well, and it can set ripple effects. And if we're feeling happy and fulfilled within ourselves, then we're going to be a better person for others as well. And so
exactly.
Yeah.
It's the old put the air, you know, put the mask on the kid on yourself before putting one on your child on the airplane. We're not good for anybody if we're constantly letting everyone else make decisions for us. And that includes what we're doing with our bodies. You know, children and animals can't consent to anything, so they have to be protected. Adults is, you know, we shouldn't be telling adults what to do with their bodies. You know, whether it's taking a medicine or not taking a medicine. You know, they'll do the same thing. They'll say, you have to take this, but I'm going to put you in jail if you take that. You know, even in schools, they'll do it. I know some people that had to pull their kids out of school because they're like, if your kid doesn't take Ritalin, they can't come to school. Okay, well, my kid's not coming to school because I'm not putting my kid on meth. You know, I've had parents do that. It's both ways. So that's that North Node. What is right for you and your physical body?
Oh, right. Yeah.
It's not just what's right for me emotionally. Aries is specifically your physical body. You know, some people can eat certain foods and take certain medications, and other people can't.
Right.
That's got to be respected.
All right. I think I'm going to wrap it up here in a second, but yeah, in conclusion,
we need to move towards our heart's desires. The universe is going to force it if you don't. What is your greatest gift that you can give away? Though that's the polarity of Leo and Aquarius. Is, you know, we all have an individual gift, and it's something that we can all work with together.
Yeah, and it's first embracing our sovereign individuality, and then bringing those gifts as well, and letting go of the people pleasing and stepping into to speaking our truth and blazing our own trail as individuals.
Right. And you don't want to be screaming at people. This is a balance. It's sticking up for yourself, but we don't have to be like fighting everyone either. So it's really finding that balance.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Thanks so much, Leslie.
Thank you for having me. Always good to see you.